You have to say fair play to anyone who's at the paddock ahead of our 8th and final race. This is the RacingTV.com classified stakes, as the temperature is very much dipped down to about the 2-degree mark. And in shot we have Voix. Now, this is probably testament to this race of how exactly Voix is favourite. A 36 race losing run, Voix comes into this. However, she's also a winner, which is saying something in the context of this field. Conrad Allen with Martin Dwyer, Racing TV's favourite Martin Dwyer, up for the first time, and she's in the tongue tie. She's an 8-year-old mare, course and distance winner, 4-time winner in all. Yes, on the face of it, a long losing run to overcome, but if you look at the opposition tonight and the fact she generally runs okay most of the time, she has a clear chance here, and a fighting one at that. Looking back to number 4, that is Jedade. Cameron Milhouse claims the 7 for Mark Lochnan, and the cheap pieces are on Jedade. He's a difficult case because on one hand, his best runs put him right in the mix. His 2 seconds at Nottingham in August over 10 and over the extended 9 furlongs are amongst the best form on offer here. On the other hand, he's 0 from 18. He doesn't arrive in good form either. And his last 3 runs have been a low level, and they haven't been that good. And the extra furlong is also a question mark. He hasn't seen out 10 convincingly before that. Number 1 is Art of America, Dougie Costello up for Paddy Butler. Now, Art of America is 4 from 36, and all 4 of those wins came with Noel Meade in Ireland pre-2020. 8 runs for Paddy Butler, haven't seen anything like that kind of form. He's coming off a layoff of 272 days, and he's opposable on that balance. Number 2 is Debonair, Darragh Keenan for Barry Brennan, 2 from 27. One of those wins came here back in April 2018. The other win was over 10 furlongs at Doncaster in 2019. He's been winless since. It seems to be a running theme with a few of these horses. They have a win here and there at some point, and then nothing for quite a while. His mark is down £24. It doesn't seem like he's in the same form as he was then. But then again, this is a weak race, and it wouldn't surprise to see something step forward. I just don't think it's probably going to be him. Number 3 is El Paco, Trevor Whelan for Richard Rowe, one of the unexposed horses in the lineup. And for a 6-year-old, he's incredibly lightly raced. But this is a better level for him than the maidens and novices he's been running in. But he is still a massive price, and he hasn't threatened it in any of his races. If we look down to where he is, he's a big, big price, and he, quite frankly, deserves to be on what we've seen so far. Looking around to who else we can get as the bell goes. Heading out onto the track, interesting contender is Pedestal in the white and black colours. Just heading out. Pedestal was formerly a smart 2-year-old for Aidan O'Brien and placed in the Windsor Castle at the Royal Meeting as a 2-year-old. It's been a completely different story since. The main question is his stamina and whether it'll hold out over a mile 3. Like a few of these, his runs over 10 haven't really convinced and have seen him fade out of it. In front of us, just passing us now, the grey is Just Albert. George Bass claiming the £5 on number 5 for Geoffrey Deacon. His recent run might have turned a bit of a corner for him. He broke his maiden last time over the extended 9 at Wolverhampton, which was his 6th run. And it's possible it was a fluke, given he was rated 14. He beat a 74 rated rival, giving him £2. But it also probably isn't a likely reflection of the runner-up's ability, 74. But don't take that away from Just Albert, who, with recent winning form, is unrivalled. No one else is able to boast it. So he at least has that going for him. At number 9, Solent Scene, Rhys Clutterbuck looking for a double on the night, riding for Robin Brisland. 0 from 4, hasn't made an impact yet, albeit he was still in there around the half-mile pole last time after pulling Darragh Keenan's arms out for a while prior to that and then faded very quickly. If he can settle, he could finish a little bit closer, but that is a big if. And a mark of 50 makes him one of the standard setters if you read it in a black and white terms. Number 11 is Bella Carosa, the filly. Richard Kingscote looking for a double as well. John Best and Karen Jewell, first run for them, and a first run after a wind-up as well. No impact in 7 runs for Mark Pattinson. Makes his stable debut, is up in trip, and she's bred to stay on the dam side. You would like to have seen a bit of money for her, is the only thing. And the last to leave the paddock leaves number 14. That's True Warrior, David Probert for Robin Brisland, stall 10. And it's a 4-year-old gelding who's 0 from 3, hasn't had as much racing as plenty of these. And whether he's good enough to take it on his first start out of maiden company, we'll have to wait and see. True Warrior. But, I mean, he has been fair. He hasn't been terribly found in the market. Although I've confused him. He's 16 to 1. He's of a standard, but plenty of these are of a standard, in inverted commas. We're dealing with classified company. 0 to 55 to close the card. The RacingTV.com classified stakes, over a mile and 3 furlongs, the last of 8 races. So runners, having gone down the far side, are now heading back down, just having a little warm-up ahead of the finale. It's the mile and 3 classified. And this is a tricky puzzle to solve. You've got a 2 to 1 favourite in Voix, who's on a losing run of about 36. And the fact that she is the favourite, and the clear favourite as well, I think speaks volumes about the level that we're talking about. Now, she is a 4-time winner. She does have Martin Dwyer's services, and she is a winner. Well, she's run well around here in recent times as well, and she's never beaten that far. I think that's what people are latching onto. But you really do have to question a couple of those in behind for her to be a clear favourite at the top of the market. The one who's fascinating, who we didn't catch up with in the paddock, who went out early, is Intoxication, number 12, who, for Mark Usher and Daniel Muscat, Daniel looking for a double on the card. This is a fascinating contender. Most of these are doubtful stayers, and you're wondering if a mile and 3 will potentially stretch them, or if they could get away with an extra furlong, having shown form over 10. We're wondering if Intoxication is going to have the toe for this. He's run well over a mile and a half here. He's run very well in the context of this race, over 2 miles here, and he's now dropping back to a mile and 3. Now, if Intoxication manages to get the breaks, this 4-year-old filly, then her recent form is as good as any. And perhaps as good as any, I think it's fair to say. If she doesn't, and if she's ridden for stamina, she might be staying on a little bit too late, even in this company. St George's Bay, you can see why St George's Bay, the 4-year-old gelding, is a short price, was potentially a little bit unlucky, but stall 12 is a negative, and I think I'd just like to see a little bit more from St George's Bay before I could nail my colours to his mast. It's just not for me at 5 to 1. I think if you're going to take something in this race, then good luck to you. This is one of the most difficult races I've worked on, let alone of the evening. This is easily the most difficult race of the card as they begin to load, and as Voix is your current favourite. Few of those at bigger prices. I guess the unexposed nature of True Warrior is interesting. One of a couple for Robin Brisland in here, wearing the red cap of Mrs. Jackie Cornwell. And True Warrior, having shown a bit of promise on second start when 7th in the same maiden as Just Albert, with the one that Just Albert won. I guess if you take that on true running and stepping up in trip could suit, and you could see why there's a bit of money. Does have to overcome stall 10 and does have to put behind a fairly disappointing run last time at Chelmsford, when 12 and a bit lengths off the pace in a small runner field, 3rd of 5 in that. The other Jackie Cornwell runner for Robin Brisland is Solent Scene, who for his age is very lightly raced. Just the 4 runs has clearly had a few issues. No market support behind for him. And I think at some point you just have to be led by exactly what the market is saying, and that is pointing to Voix, who is at least a proven winner, who at least comes into this in some kind of form as well, is a course and distance winner. Thanks, Rishi. You're very brave if you're playing anything in this race. When we're looking at a favourite like Voix, who's on a losing run of north of 30 runs, you'd have to be brave, but it's quite clear to see her chance in this. She's a multiple winner. She never runs badly, even when she's beaten, and she does come into it in some kind of form. Just for interest purposes, I'd be interested to see exactly what Just Albert can do. There's plenty of knocks that you could put to his Wolverhampton win, where he beat a 74 rated rival who was odds on, but should he be rated 74 on that evidence? That is the question. Just Albert will be one of the last in, and Pedestal will likely be the last to go forward for the Mile 3 Classified. With our thanks, here's Mark Johnson for the finale.
Side post, Intoxication rearing up in stall number 7. Settles now. They're in the gate. And they're off. A couple of them just a little bit slow to begin. Debonair wasn't that fast away. He probably was the slowest into stride. Also, Bella Colarosa, not that fast into stride. Pedestal led them in the very early stages with a circuit to go now, joined by Solent Scene on the outside. Those are the first two, and they've got off pretty hard. 3 lengths away is Santorini Sal against the inside rail in 3rd. Jadade on that one's outside is racing in 4th position. Just Albert is in 5th, with El Paco for company in 6th position. Art of America on the outside is racing in 7th as they head into the back straight. Art of America is alongside Debonair. Then there's a break of a further 3 lengths back to True Warrior, making another 4 then back to Voix, and then making a bit of ground on the outside from a long way back is Mactur. Mactur is making a huge move. Spot the blue colours, the white cheek pieces around the outside. And then St George's Bay, who's back in the field with Intoxication, and also Bella Colarosa towards the rear as they head now towards the end of the back straight. So it is Solent Scene on the outside of Pedestal, the first two. Jadade on the outside of Santorini Sal in a share of 3rd and 4th. Then the grey Just Albert in 5th. El Paco is in 6th. The horse who made the big move down the back straight, Mactur, has improved into 7th around the outside of Art of America and Debonair. Then Voix, who races up on the outside of True Warrior. After that one, St George's Bay, Intoxication, and still Bella Colarosa at the back of the field. They've got 3 furlongs to go. And Pedestal has seen off the attentions now of the early challenge, and it's now out in front by a length and a half to Santorini Sal in 2nd place. Continue to stay on Just Albert into 3rd. Jadade towards the outside. Bella Colarosa, who was last into the home straight, is now making inroads against that far side rail and is passing horses. Well, in a flash and in the space of a furlong and a half, Bella Colarosa has gone from last to first. Now Voix sets sail down the outside side of Intoxication, but first run went to Bella Colarosa, who simply just joined in with 2 furlongs to go. Bella Colarosa takes the nightcap. Tight second between Intoxication and Voy.
Bella Colarosa gives Richard Kingscote another winner. For John Best and Karen Jewell, second Intoxication and Voy back in third. First run after a wind-up, Rach, and she's fairly bolted up in the grade.
Yeah, she definitely has. I mean, first run for these connections, having left Mark Pattinson and 5 months off the track, wind up, and before she just was not seeing out her races at all. And obviously, this is one of those wind ups that has worked an absolute stormer.
It's also hugely up in trip. I think that she ran over a mile at Lingfield back in June, and then she ran over 7 furlongs in July. We haven't seen her since then. Obviously, switched stables, had the wind up. Having a look at the way the race unfolded, I think we both said it as they went into the first turn, they were going a fair lick.
Yeah, these guys were, you know, as we sometimes say, the lower the grade, the faster they go. But these horses and jockeys decided, no, we're going to do that. We're going to sprint for 1.3 miles, and Pedestal with the blinkers back on after a while without it, absolutely scooted to the front. Solient Scene was his partner in crime for a while, but he slowly backed out of it quite tamely, and then Santorini Sal and Jedi behind them sort of pushing the pace. But Pedestal here looked for all the world that he was going to do a Fact and Fable and notch up a long waiting second career success. But just at the cutaway, all of a sudden, Bella Colarosa, Richard Kingscote just said go, and she just absolutely flew. I mean, this was only her 8th start, but we said first time off the wind up, first time for New Connections, first time up 3 furlongs in trip, and they figured out the key to this horse. Intoxication under Danny Musket just gets the better of Voy and Martin Dwyer, who, when
she's last turning in.
No, I mean, the great thing is, in commentary, Mark starts to talk about, you see Bella Colarosa coming in. I'm sort of looking on the outside, and you just see the green silks of Voy and Voy, and
neither.
Just sort of tips, when you see Martin sort of tip her out, and she just starts going. And I've actually, maybe the grade drop, maybe something, she's not shown this sort of turn of foot for a while. She's normally grinding.
Yes.
We found some gears again, which I know she didn't win. I know she lost a place right at the end of the race, but this is very much a back to form for her, that there might be a few races coming up for her to win.
And extraordinarily, I mean, Richard Kingscote just gave her one little tap and didn't really have to get too serious with Bella Colarosa. I think certainly benefiting from the pace of the race and being held up at the back has helped a little bit, and probably slightly exaggerated the superiority, but there's no doubt she was significantly superior to her rivals. Bella Colarosa, the winner of the finale at Kempton at 25-1, second Intoxication at 9-2, and Voy back in third.